everybody, welcome to Our Lives Travel. My name is Dana and I'm part of the Our Lives Travel Coalition, and I'm here today to talk to you about why you should wear your wristband on your non-dominant hand. So let's talk about that. Let's get into it.
Hey everybody, I'm Corey.
And I'm Dana.
And welcome to Our Lives Travel. So today, we're here to give you our full review of our trip on Serenade of the Seas.
So, we did kind of compile a list. I'm not going to lie, it's not orderly. That's asking too much. So, we're just going to go down our list of things that we want to talk about, questions we know we've been asked, and just share our thoughts with you. So, the first thing we have up here is pre-boarding COVID testing. So hopefully you saw our other video for COVID testing, but as you know, to board this cruise you have to get a negative COVID test, and it has to be done 2 days prior to boarding. So for us this was a little inconvenient only because it was Thanksgiving. We actually left 2 days after Thanksgiving, so we lost out on the Thursday opportunity to get the testing done. We could do it Thursday or Friday because we were selling on Saturday. So we lost out on that opportunity to get it done that day. So I was really worried about only having Friday to get tested. Some of you may know getting tested in Tampa was actually a little bit harder than it is around here in Georgia. There were fewer places that we could get the antigen test. So for example, CVS, where we went here, in Tampa was only doing the ACR?
PCR?
PCR, sorry, the PCR test, which takes 2-3 days to come back, and we definitely couldn't risk that.
No.
But Walgreens was doing it in Tampa, so we made an appointment for Walgreens on Friday, but we really wanted to get it done on Thursday. So at the time, Royal Caribbean was offering the BitMEX Now antigen test that you can do. It's a proctored/monitored test. So you actually have somebody watching you take the test and reading the results. So even though it's a home test and basically you do it anywhere, it is monitored. We actually purchased those tests. They were 2 for $69, I believe.
Through Royal Caribbean, right?
Yeah, so on Royal Caribbean site, there's a link where you can go and purchase it.
Right.
So we purchased it that way, and then as you can see, we took it in the hotel room. And once we came back with our negative test, we were then able to go and cancel our appointments with Walgreens.
Yeah.
I felt much more confident getting it done on Thursday than waiting until the day before. Yeah. Especially like for people who were going to fly down or do something like before I fly, I want to make sure my test is negative so I don't waste my time.
Exactly.
And have to, vacation in Tampa instead of on the cruise. So,
which I've heard, we heard someone in line while we were doing our back-to-back, that if you go and you have to get your COVID test at the port, it was like $100.
$100.
Yeah, so we didn't even want to have to do that either. So luckily we were able to do that there in the hotel and just get it out of the way, and have our results.
So I think overall, there were some mishaps with actually doing the test and having it monitored.
Yeah.
Again, check out that video if you want to see that. But overall, was it a little inconvenient? Absolutely. But, hey, it's worth it to be safe and keep others safe. So
exactly.
No major issues to me with that.
Yeah. So after we did that, we went and did the embarkation, of course, which was interesting because, the ship was only 50% capacity. It wasn't as many people there as we thought they were going to be there. We were able to get there on the scheduled time that we're supposed to be there. So they do give you a lot of time that you're supposed to be there. And I know a lot of times people show up early. Well, if you show up early, they're actually going to put you in a separate line and make you wait until your designated time, right? Because we saw some people there.
People who were just waiting.
Yeah.
I think we had 12:30, and I think I heard some of the people who were waiting had 2 o'clock.
Right.
And they were literally just standing, leaning up against the building in a line.
So make sure you adhere to the time that they actually give you, or else you are going to have to wait. We also did the VIP, was that the VIP parking that we did as well. So
at the port of Tampa, you had the option of self-park or you can do valet parking. So we did the valet parking, which was nice. So we literally pulled our stuff out, walked it to the terminal while they went and put the car away for us. Now, one thing I want to point out that a lot of people may not know is you can purchase your valet parking in advance. We were doing it back to back, so we were actually going to be there longer than just that cruise. if you are doing a back-to-back, you can actually contact the parking at the Port of Tampa, and they will set you up a special online way to purchase an extended parking, so you don't need, because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Because if you buy 2 valets, you're paying for them to put it back, bring it back to you twice, when really you're only going to do, you're not going to get off the ship in the middle and get your truck back.
Right.
So you can actually have them set it up, and it'll save you a little bit of money. So you could buy it for actually the days you'll be there, if you're going to be there longer than just one cruise.
Yeah, so that was great. We loved that service. And then once we did that, we were able to go through security. And let me tell you, going through embarkation was really not that hard at all. Like I said, there wasn't really a whole lot of people there. You go in there, you have to show your vaccination card, and you have to show your passport and your documents, I think 3 times. I think there was 3 times.
Yeah, or several times.
We had to show it or whatever. But you go through the whole process, and then once you're there, they'll give you your wristband to show that you're vaccinated, right? And then get onto the ship. And once we got on the ship, everything else was pretty golden. I thought it was a really easy process for us to go through embarkation, so... Yeah.
So talking about embarkation, let's go ahead and talk about getting off the ship.
Oh.
So let's talk about de-embarkation, disembarkation, however you say it, whichever one you choose. That was the best getting off the ship I have ever experienced in our however many years, 16, 20 plus years of cruising. I don't know how long we're going. But that was one of the best. Not really one of the best. I'm sorry. That was the best. We were literally in our room. From our room to sitting in the truck. I timed it. It was 10 minutes.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. And I think what cut everything down was, of course, the capacity. But then also, normally when you get off the cruise and you're going through customs and getting your luggage, there's a zigzag process for you to just go through this, basically line like you're at Disney World or something like that, to go through and get your luggage and then finally get to customs and then walk out. It was a straight line. We get off, we went through the terminal, just like the same terminal we come into, grabbed our bags, had a porter, and we were out of there so quick. Got out, showed our ticket for the valet, and then boom, our truck was there and we were gone.
And the valet, maybe it took a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was definitely less than 3 minutes for them to get our truck pulled around.
Amazing.
And if you want to see kind of what the line looked like, we don't have the actual line for when we're finally getting off, but if you watch our back-to-back, where we show how you do back-to-back, we actually show you a line through the terminal, and that's basically what it looked like to get out. It was like single file, walk on out. Yeah. Get your stuff, leave. It
was great.
It was fantastic.
We loved it. So if we want to continue to go down our list of things that we were going to talk about, one of the things was we had a handicap accessible room, which was right there located near the elevator. And Dana, you want to talk a little bit more about that room? It was a huge, huge room.
So first, I like to call it handy-capable.
Yes, handy-capable.
But so this time we were able to get an accessible room. We need an accessible room, and I'll kind of just leave it at that. But it gave me the opportunity to go in and kind of give you guys a view of what that looked like. And one thing I really, really liked about it is the features. It wasn't, I think a lot of people think an accessible room means it's bigger. It's not just bigger. It's bigger for people who need it to be bigger, but there's so many other features in there that I think, and if you watch that video, you heard me, so I won't go down that my soapbox again. But it has so many features in it that people, depending on their abilities, would need. Right. And so I was really impressed by the things that and this is not the first time that we've needed an accessible room. So we've gotten one prior to this, and I think it was on Norwegian Pearl. Yeah. Totally different situation, right. But it did not have the same features that this particular room had. And again, it was years ago. I think it was in 2009. So things may have changed, but things like the pull tabs if you were in the bed or if you were in the bathroom and you needed assistance. I love that idea because if you can't reach the phone and can't get to the door, yelling for help, maybe somebody will hear you walking by. But, I love the idea that somebody who needs those things has them right there.
Right.
The grab bars, they weren't like flimsy grab bars. They're nice and sturdy.
Yeah.
The shower seat,
Yeah.
just all the things that they had in there, I felt like were really good. I will just say that I do wish they had more of these rooms that necessarily weren't big.
Right.
Because having the large size room is definitely for somebody who has like a wheelchair or somebody who needs space, maybe it's a scooter or whatever. But some of those features that they have in there would be useful for people who maybe didn't even have a wheelchair or a scooter. So if they would just make some more of them handy capable, I think that would be great. We actually have something coming up in the hopefully near future, a little surprise, and we'll share that with you guys as well. But from what we've seen, this is going to be a totally different experience.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned, I won't lie, but we're going to go and kind of see how it goes.
Yeah. We'll make sure we give you all the details.
So one thing I didn't really talk about in the videos that I did want to mention. So Royal Caribbean beds for me are typically too hard.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of the things I purchased, I was going to get like a thin blow-up mattress or something. But what I actually found, I don't know, some people may be familiar with this. It's called a pressure relief mattress. And I'll have Corey put in a little video in here. But anyway, so what it does is it has different little sections that inflate and deflate with air throughout the night. And so what it does is keep you from having any one pressure point pushing into the bed all night long. So it kind of moves around. Guys, it was fantastic. I'm going to recommend that, out the door to everybody. I'll drop the link down below. It wasn't too expensive. But yeah, I won't waste your time with a full commercial. But it was really, really great, and it helped me sleep a lot better and be more comfortable.
So let's go ahead and keep going down our list there, shall we? Because I don't remember everything we wanted to talk about. So one of the things we wanted to talk about was the mask wearing. So I thought it was interesting how you have to wear your mask pretty much anywhere throughout the ship, whenever you're going from one venue to another. If you're outdoors, it's not required that you have to wear a mask, and if you're actually eating or drinking as well. But they also had vaccinated, unvaccinated sections throughout the ship as well. So in the theater, it was, the 5th level and the 6th level, we'll say. The 5th level was all for vaccinated, and the 6th level was for unvaccinated. If you're in the vaccinated section, they were actually, I won't say, what's the word that I'm looking for? They would encourage you to not wear your mask once you went into the theater. And I'm only talking about this because I had a kind of an experience. So when you're inside the theater, it's packed. I mean, it's elbow to elbow. They're not really social distancing people or anything like that with their seating. I wanted to actually sit upstairs because I felt like, well, if I'm upstairs with the unvaccinated guests and there's not really a whole lot of them, I could probably space myself out a little bit more. Well, they do not want the vaccinated people up on the same level with the unvaccinated people. I tried to go in there. They forced me to go down to the lower level with everyone else. I tried to go in through another side door, and the guy was like, well, you can go up there, but you're going to have to wear your mask the whole time, and you're going to have to adhere to all the rules of the people who are unvaccinated. I said, well, I don't care, because I don't mind wearing my mask anyways. And he said, well, when you get up there, my supervisor's going to say the exact same thing to you. So I went up there. There were several more people who decided to do the exact same thing that I was going to do. They decided to come right on up there with me and do the exact same thing. And so I just kind of sat there with my mask on, everything else. It was just weird to me. I felt like it was a little bit off of why they wanted you to just kind of, not wear your mask whenever you're with the vaccinated people. I don't know.
So this has changed since we've cruised. So it's a little bit different. I feel this way. Like I know how I feel about me and wearing a mask. I have comorbidities. I'm going to wear masks. That's just me. Right. I don't really care what everybody else is doing. So that's never been an issue. But what I think just that situation was weird because we ran into this in Mexico too because somebody asked me why I had a mask on.
Right.
And I do think that's odd. Like, I'm not asking you where yours is at. Don't ask me why I have one on. I don't know why you encourage somebody who has one on to take it off because obviously they're choosing to wear it. Like, I don't think you need to do that. So I'm not a mask police. Don't be one as to why I have one on. I won't be one as to why you're not.
It was just odd.
To have a good time.
It just felt really, really odd that they were just encouraging people to take it off.
I think they know a subset of their population or their customers really don't want to have it on.
Right.
And so I'm sure they just thought in their mind that they were, trying to make you more comfortable and help you have a better cruise and things like that. Yeah. What I wanted to say is, since we're talking about shows, let's talk about the show.
Oh, okay, the Adele show. I thought I don't remember her name, but I'll put it up there on the screen when I show you the video. But she was fantastic. I thought that her singing was she sounded like she could have been Adele. I mean, I just thought that she was just really, really, really fantastic. Everybody was singing, several people were singing along. She did a whole set of all of her popular songs. I thought she was great. I mean, I just thought she was really great.
Now, Corey knows I'm not a musical fan and stuff like that. Not my thing. And in terms of Adele, I know her as an artist and I like some of her songs, but she's not somebody I would have on my playlist, right?
Right.
So that being said, I absolutely enjoyed this show.
Yeah.
The woman, not only was she spot on with her sound and the music and stuff, she had personality, which I think Adele does too, right?
Absolutely.
So I think it worked really well. Yeah. But just in her talking in between songs and things like that, she even got some audience participation and things going. So I absolutely recommend that show.
Absolutely.
Granted, it was one of the few shows available.
That's true. Yeah, there aren't that many.
But I absolutely thought it was a great show. She did a really good job.
Yeah,
yes, she sounded beautiful.
Food.
Oh, yes. Okay, so let's talk about food.
Yes.
So first thing I'll mention is we did something different this time. So for the first half of our cruise, which was 5 days, we went and we got the ultimate dining package. Yeah. And so what that gives us the opportunity to do is we can eat in any of the pay restaurants. Basically, it's included. So we could go to Chops, Giovanni's, Azumi's, or whatever. And eat there. Now, it's supposedly unlimited, which means I could have gone to 2 of those restaurants in one night.
Yeah.
We did not do that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that's what the unlimited package is. I know there were some people who were like, does it mean I can only go once? No, it actually means you can go more than one time. And that is actually per the information on Royal Caribbean's website, because I actually had considered printing it out in case they gave us any type of flack to say no, that's not what it says, but I didn't. And then also know that these restaurants are mainly open for dinner, but sometimes, especially on sea days, they're open for lunch. Some of them, at least one of them is. So you'll need to check your daily schedule to see if they're open or not. But so you have the opportunity to eat there for lunch or dinner.
Yeah, because we went to Chops for lunch on the very first day we were on board, and I thought it was great. I thought Chops was really, really wonderful. It was the only time that we ate there, as a matter of fact.
In the restaurant.
Was for lunch, yes.
We'll get to that.
We'll talk about
it. So I'll say this. So having that dining package and being able to dine there, if you're somebody who's interested in social distancing, then that's the way to go, because nobody was in there. I think the only other people who could have Chops for lunch on boarding day were maybe people who purchased the key package.
Yeah.
Because that comes with some other benefits, and I think lunch and Chops is one of them. Or maybe it was lunch in the main dining room. I take it back. I think maybe they had lunch in the main dining room today. Something, I don't know. But again, you'll see from our video when we were in Chops, it was like we almost had the restaurant to ourselves.
Yeah.
So this was our first time in Chops.
Yeah.
We've heard a lot about it, and I know a lot of people go. So it was interesting. I had salmon. You actually had a burger
I had a burger that first time for lunch. We had a couple of sides, mac and cheese, mashed potato tots. That's what it was. Gruyere mashed potato tots. I think we had mac and cheese.
They are called tater tots. They're not called mashed potato tots. That's just what we call them. Because, guys, this is probably going too far. I don't know what, when we eat tater tots here, they're little minced pieces of potato and the tater tot. At least that's what they taste like.
Right.
This was very glutinous mashed potatoes inside of a tater tot. I call it a mashed potato log.
Yeah.
But I didn't like them.
I thought it was okay. It just wasn't what it was described as, or what I envisioned.
Yeah, so it sounds fancy and everything.
Yes. Gruyere, cheese. There wasn't no cheese in that.
It didn't taste like cheese.
No.
The mac and cheese I actually liked, but it looked like it was some shells with a piece of American cheese melted on. That's what it looked like. I liked it. You didn't really like it that much. But I was saying my salmon was banging. That salmon was delicious. I actually got it a second time later on.
So you want to speak about the second time later on we got for chops? Since we're on the chops train?
Yes.
So we ordered chops for dinner one night, but we didn't want to actually go into the restaurant. So we called to see if that actually we could go and pick it up. And that's what we ended up doing. It's basically to go. Which was interesting because I didn't think that would actually be an option, but they allowed us to do that.
Yeah, they acted like everybody's doing this. It's not like they weren't like, because sometimes you call and they're like, hold on for a minute, let me check. They were like, okay, no, we can, so apparently it's something they do. And I don't know if they're just doing this now, if it's always been the case. So,
but just check that out if you're interested. So we actually got chops to go for dinner. And so I ended up getting the, I think it was called like a barbecue glazed piece of
pork belly.
No, it was called.
That's what it looked like.
No, it was called bacon. It was like a barbecue black pepper bacon or something like that, right? So I'm thinking like maybe a nice crispy piece of bacon with some sauce or something on it. I don't know. And then I got the prime rib. And then we also got those Gruyere tots again because I was like, let me try this.
We did not get them.
Okay, I got the Gruyere tots again because I was like, let me just try those and I needed to decide or whatever, so we'll see if they're good the second time. And the bacon was basically a pork belly. Dana thought that it was my steak because it was so big. The sauce on top of it was like a ketchup glaze or something. There was no black pepper. It was chewy. It was not good.
You basically didn't eat it.
I didn't eat it. I ate like a piece of it. You'll see in the video. I just ate like a couple pieces of it just to try it, but it was not good. And then the prime rib was really good. I thought that was great. But then again, Gruyere mashed tots or mashed potato logs, as Dana wants to call them, same as it was for lunch. No thank you.
So I got the salmon again. So again, mine was great. I was good. And I got dessert.
Oh yeah, we did get dessert.
Yes. It
was an apple thing?
No, I thought mine was cheese. I don't know. I have to go back and look.
Okay, we'll see.
But you got the red velvet cake. We know that.
The red velvet cake was amazing. That was really, really good. Big piece of cake. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, which we can talk about with the other restaurants, is that they give you so much food. Like, they really, really do. Especially in Giovanni's. They just give you a lot of food.
And honestly, it's too much.
Yeah, it really is.
I know that they're trying to make it seem like the price that you're paying is worth it. Mm-hmm. But these amounts of food make you end up wasting it, right? Yeah. If we went to a restaurant like this and they gave us this kind of food here, we would take it home and eat it the next day, right? So we would actually eat the food. There, you don't do that. There's no place to warm it up or anything.
Right.
So it just ends up becoming waste. And so I feel like that is probably my biggest issue with this. Like, people have asked what we thought about the Ultimate Dining Plan, and honestly, I would not get it again.
Right.
Because, first of all, there's too much food on the ship that is complimentary that it doesn't make sense for me to pay. I think at some point some of these places, if you buy them individually, are like $50 a meal. Mm-hmm. There's no way I would pay $100 to eat at Chops for the two of us and not be able to take my leftovers home. Right. I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't work out. I think the prices are too high. I think there's opportunity to reduce the amount of food. And normally I don't say stuff like that, but if you're not taking it home, then you don't need that much, because most people are not eating that much. And I say that only to say, like, when we went to Giovanni's, the idea is you start with bread and then you get an appetizer and you may get a salad with that too. And then all their entrees, they encourage you to pick a pasta to go along with it. And we did that. But the pasta, they allowed us to get half portions of the pasta.
Right.
Still couldn't eat all of that. So much food wasted. So, it just felt weird that they were encouraging us to order. Like, I don't know if they were trying to test the menus out and see just what people thought, because they did ask us, how was everything a lot.
Yeah.
But at one point, I think you joked and told them that they should have a seat and help us eat the food.
Oh, yeah. Because he just kept coming out with plate after plate after plate. And it was so full. I told him, I said, you can come on over here and sit down and keep eating with us. I mean, and we were like, the other thing was we were like one of the last few people that were in the restaurant. We were there right before they closed, we'll say. And so I'm like, why would you go and prepare all these? Were you trying to clean out the kitchen? Like... What's going on? I don't know, but
the food was good.
But the food was great.
So don't get us wrong. Giovanni's was great. We also went to Izumi.
Yeah.
Now I think food wise, Izumi, I'll have to say, and that's a la carte. So you actually, if you go in there, it's not a fixed price. You would pay each individual thing. If you got the meal plan, I think you get up to $35 to spend in there.
Right.
Which I think food wise, I didn't feel like they gave us too much food there. I think because you ordered stuff individually, like, for example, that one, like, stir-fry bowl, like, out of teriyaki chicken or whatever, was $17, which is, if I was really at home going to get something that's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'd be going to New Japan or something.
All right, well, depends on where you get.
I guess, yeah. But like I didn't feel like we wasted that much. I didn't eat exactly every bit of it, but it's the most I've eaten anywhere.
Of all the restaurants, that was the most we ate.
Prime example, so I ordered the shrimp tempura appetizer. Like, it literally may have had 2 shrimp, 4-5 pieces of vegetables. That's it. Like, it wasn't overly done.
Yeah.
So I think that restaurant, while I think it's kind of priced expensively for what you're getting, I do feel like the portions are better for a place that you're not going to take food home.
Yeah, and it tasted good. I like the Zumi's, but Giovanni's I think was probably the best.
Your favorite.
So then we also checked out the Windjammer. Same thing, basically the same type of buffet that you would see on any other cruises. The thing that was different this one because of the pandemic was that now you're no longer allowed. Now, this might be different now, but when we went in November, now you're not allowed to actually serve yourself the menus the items that are on the buffet. So they will actually give you what you're actually asking for. They turn the spoons onto the inside, except for some of the grab and go sections. So I asked the guys, because I didn't know what the process was, and there was some grab and go items like little salads or little parfaits or something like that. You could just grab and go those things. But the main entree dishes, they would actually serve you. But I thought the food was okay. Standard buffet food.
I mean, it was typical Windjammer. I didn't have any problem with it. But I will say the one thing, I didn't realize how much I would not like this until the second half of our cruise ship. The Windjammer, because we were under 50% capacity, was not open for dinner.
Yes.
And I don't know how much of that is to encourage people to eat at the pay restaurant.
Yeah.
Because when you went into the dining room, it was they had us packed in there like sardines.
Yeah.
And it was bad. I'm not, again, if you've seen the video, it was just like, I hated that.
Yeah.
Like, we literally went to the main dining room one time because I was like, I'm not going back in here.
Yeah.
But then now we have a very limited options of places to eat, unless we want to pay restaurant. Because really now you're down to like eating some snacks in the park cafe. Or room
service, which is what we ate a lot of.
Or room service. So I didn't realize how much I would miss the Windjammer. Some of you may not know this, but on Royal Caribbean, a lot of times, whatever they're serving in the main dining room, they're also serving in the Windjammer.
Yeah.
So I like that because then I can get exactly what I want and how much of it that I really want. So, I definitely would not want to do that again, to not have that option. We are not main dining room people anyway.
Right.
Because we don't need 4 forks and 18 spoons.
Don't get into the silverware.
We just like to go in and get our food. We don't like all the to do.
Right.
So I really did. Yeah, I really did miss not having the Windjammer for dinner.
But I loved the spacing of the seating in the Windjammer. There's plenty of places for you to spread out, indoor and outdoor. The other thing that I did like about the Windjammer is they also have these cards that they put on the table, and it tells you whether or not the table has been sanitized or not. So after everybody somebody leaves, they kind of flip it over, sanitize it, and then flip it over and say, this one's taken or something like that. I did like that. They had that available, to showcase that.
So the other thing is room service. So one thing I'll have to say that they were doing is normally they're American breakfasts where you can get like hot stuff like eggs and pancakes and grits or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, all of that stuff usually is $7.95.
Right.
You can get as much as you want, but it's a base price of $7.95. Well, one of the things they were doing is they were offering it free on the ship. So we actually ordered room service breakfast, guys. Room service breakfast is better than the Windjammer. It's better than the main dining room.
Hands down.
Those pancakes, y'all know when y'all have had stuff from room service, it's like, have you ever gotten a grilled cheese from room service? It's like toast bread that just has been toasted with a piece of cheese slammed in the middle of it. It's not melted. It wasn't like no butter, nothing. Okay, so I didn't have huge hopes. I knew it'd be edible, but whatever. No, those pancakes were fluffy. Everything was hot.
Crispy bacon. It's delicious. Yeah.
It was so good. We did it several times. Yeah. We were so surprised.
Yeah.
So I hope that continues. I hope, because we've had room service breakfast before. It hasn't been like that. So they were, again, I think reduced capacity probably helped with this.
Yeah.
But our stuff just was fresher and tasted better. I don't know.
Really, really good. Love the room service breakfast.
I used to feel like room service breakfast, we just go pull stuff off the buffet. But I don't know. But I think definitely in this case, they were cooking
small of it. You had like just a little bit of eggs, a little tiny little tomato, and then we just maybe some beans.
Stop putting the tomato on the How many of y'all eat that tomato that comes
with the eggs
and the little hash brown? Okay. So I would say overall the food, typical Royal Caribbean. The food was good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I wouldn't do the ultimate dining plan again. Maybe if I wanted something special, maybe one restaurant I would pay for. I kind of doubt it. But the ultimate dining plan was just...
We tried it.
Too much food. We tried it though.
We had it back-to-back, so we were like, let's just try it on one of the trips and then not do it on the other one. See how much actually we missed it. We really didn't miss it too much, to be honest with you. I love the Park Cafe and also the, what was the coffee place?
Latitudes.
Oh, Cafe Latitudes. They had, let me tell you, if you go to Cafe Latitudes or even the main dining room and you find something that says it's like fruit pound cake, I don't know what kind of pound cake it was, but it was like a fruity type of pound cake, mango something, I don't know. Get that.
So moist. So good.
So good. And, usually desserts, we talk about the desserts on the cruise ships. Sometimes they're very bad.
But I feel like this cruise ship, I'm trying to think, I didn't have a problem with any of the desserts. Now, I don't think we had as many as we have in the past.
But the desserts were good.
The only exception when we say desserts is, and I wrote this down, so I went one day we got some, when we were in the Windjammer for breakfast, we got some of the little pastries. So I'm going to tell y'all the pastries we got. I decided to name these things as what they actually should have been called. So we had an apple-scented croissant, because there was no apple in that thing. Like, really? Anyway. Then we had what I like to refer to as a hide-and-seek chocolate croissant with a powder dusting. Like, if you could have found the chocolate in that would have been great. And finally, we had the Maggie dry Simpson donut. Y'all, there's a picture of it, too. That donut was so dry and
it looked good.
Awful. But we've had good donuts from Royal Caribbean before this one. We were excited to get one, and it was horrible.
It was absolutely
horrible. So leave those pastries alone. I don't know what they're doing, but they were dry and awful.
But find the pound cake and eat that.
Find the pound cake. And even some of the little parfaits.
Yes, those were good too. Those were very, very good. So another thing we want to talk about is the some of the activities and some of the venues and stuff that they have there. So like the Solarium. Love the Solarium. That is like our favorite place to just like hang out, enjoy some peace and quiet, enjoy the pool. Beautiful, beautiful venue is the Solarium. Absolutely love it.
So I will say, even though we wanted to reduce capacity ship where it was pretty much just adults and a handful of kids, a lot of adults still did take part and use the solarium.
Yeah.
However, I would say the pool was never full.
Nope.
So it's mainly people who are just lying out.
By yourself
Oh,
one
yeah.
day.
I had that pool to myself for hours. It was my pool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, majority of people are just there to lay out in the sun and,
Read
also.
a book. And,
yeah. And then they do have a bar and like you said, the park cafe is there.
Yeah.
And I really like that. So you can go get snacks. They had make your own salad. Somebody would make you a salad, really. And then, they had some more hot stuff and,
But
desserts.
the pool was nice. It was refreshing. It was deep, though. So, like, I'm a swimmer. I do know how to swim, but I don't really like for my feet not to touch the bottom. I know that sounds weird. But it was like 6 feet, like the whole way. I'm like 5'7". It was not... I didn't really care for that part too much, so I was like hanging on to the side, or the whatever. And we've been on other cruise ships where at the very end of the ship they have seats inside of there, so you can actually sit there. I was really looking forward to that, and they didn't have it on this ship. So that was one thing that I didn't really like about the pool, but I did like the fact that they had steps that you could actually walk into the pool or whatever. Accessibility there, that was great. But yeah, I didn't like the fact that it was like 6 feet the whole way.
Yeah, I will say be careful because when you step off that last step, there's nothing.
There's nothing there.
So if, we saw a couple people trying to hold into the wall and stuff again. So just, be careful.
Just be careful,
with that.
If you're not really a swimmer or anything like that. Yeah.
But I absolutely loved it. I love me a good pool.
That was your space. You did like that. So some of the other things that I wanted to talk about as far as like venues and stuff. Deck 5. Okay, so we're gonna give you a little secret. Okay, don't tell a whole lot of people about this, but we're gonna give you a little secret. Deck 5, especially on port days, because a lot of people get off the ship. When you first go outside there, the smoking and non-smoking section, there are tons of loungers there. It's right underneath the lifeboats. And it is so quiet. It is so peaceful. And a wonderful place to just sit out, enjoy the sounds of the ocean, read a good book. Fantastic. We sat out there. We only sat out there one time for a couple of hours.
Well, you went out there more than I did.
Yeah, I wish we had taken part in it a lot more than what we actually did. But we had a balcony, but still, it was beautiful. It was really, really beautiful. I mean, there was a couple people came out there. We sat on the smoking section because we were parked next to another ship the day that we went out there. And we didn't want to really hear all the hustle and bustle of the other ship, plus people getting on and off the ship. Couldn't hear anything. It was absolutely wonderful. So there were a couple people who came out there and smoked, but it really wasn't too bad.
He kept trying to get me to go down there, and I was like, why would I want to go sit out on the balcony? And we have our own total different experience.
It really is.
It was really, really lovely sitting out there. And we actually, because we were on the smoking side, and like you said, some people did come out there. We actually scooted, we pulled our chairs.
I
mean, there's enough room. You don't have to sit right next to somebody if you don't want to. So we just pulled the chairs.
And it is their section. I mean they're allowed to smoke there. So.
Yeah, so we just pulled our chairs.
We chose to be over there, whatever.
Since we're talking about this, let's go ahead and talk about some of the other venues and just entertainment on the ship.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys my opinion in terms of this ship for first-time cruisers. So I would say for first-time cruisers, this is not the ship or the time for you to be sailing because there was basically no real entertainment aboard the ship. And a lot of you know that, people love that poolside entertainment, hairy chests, wobbly knees, all the kind of stuff that they dance parties.
All that stuff.
None of that was happening. It was pretty dull. I have to say, entertainment wise on this cruise, I mean, other than like a handful of shows, you had a comedian, you had Adele, you had
a musical show.
Yeah, musical show. Whatever. You did have live music at some venues.
Yeah.
But in terms of audience participation and stuff you're used to seeing, especially during the day, it wasn't there.
You don't get any of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't get any of that. No sail away party, none of that type of stuff. So if you're looking for that, party atmosphere and just like wild and crazy, and like you said, audience participation. You're really not going to find that, especially like after 8 o'clock. So there was one night where we were going to the Adele show, as a matter of fact, and they actually had a movie night outside to, you know, watch Under the Stars is what they call it. I walked out there. There's probably 2 people out there watching that movie, and it wasn't just because it was the movie. I mean, it was just like everybody was asleep, or they were, you know, just doing something else and hanging out in their room or whatever. But like, there were 2 people out there. They weren't even watching. They were just out there smoking. And I was like, where is everybody?
And don't get us wrong. We know we were on Royal Caribbean and not Carnival. So we knew it was never going to be like popping. We didn't really want, we're not poppers. So we were okay with that.
People.
But we're used to like at least people hanging out and doing stuff or whatever. And it wasn't like, if you saw our video that one night, I was like, we're going to stay up till 4 a.m. Guys, the hardest part of that was not falling asleep sitting there, because there was nothing. Literally after 9 o'clock, there's really nothing to do.
It really is dead. Which is fine, because, you know.
Yeah, I am not complaining, because honestly, that's my type of cruise. But again, when we're talking about a new cruiser, you know, who has seen all these commercials, you know, of Symphony of the Seas and Oasis and all this other junk, and we bring them to the Serenade, you know, in the middle of a pandemic, where it's like 50% capacity. Things don't look like those commercials.
Yeah, it really.
And so I would just say, you know, we have a friend who doesn't want to cruise because she feels like she would get bored and there would be nothing to do. And if we had taken her on this cruise, she probably would have been proven correct. So I wouldn't have wanted to take her on this one.
Yeah. So it just depends on your audience. It depends on who's going to go. But just wanted to put it out there that this was a very laid back cruise. So if that's what you're looking for, by all means, absolutely go and do that. But they have other venues. I mean, they have the sports court and they have the arcade room and they have the casino, you know, whatever. So they do have things for you to do, but you kind of got to find your own entertainment. We'll just say that. So bring entertainment with you. So if you want to bring some activities and stuff, so I'll go ahead and go into that. So I brought some activities for me. Danny, you brought some activities for you. I had 2 Lego sets that I built because I'm really into Legos. One was by a company called Blocko or something like that. I don't know what it was called.
Not Legos.
Not Legos. But it was frustrating, but it was fun to achieve the goal at the very end of building this dog. So you can see the video and photos there of me building that dog. But not only did I have that, I also had an official Lego set of a guitar. I'm trying to think of the name of the guitar. Fender. Something,
yeah, that sounds right.
Fender Stratter, whatever, something like that, whatever. But you can see I built the guitar and the amp that came along with it, and it was
cute.
Yeah, if you look at the picture, it looks like it's a really big set, but it's not. It's only probably maybe like this tall or something like that. But it was fun to do. I really enjoyed it. So make sure you bring some activities with you. I built that out on the balcony over a couple of days, and you know, it was just a lot of fun. You had your murder mystery thing.
Yeah, I was solving crimes.
Yeah.
I was solving crimes.
Did you find out who killed her?
You know what? I stopped solving crimes. And I didn't finish.
But you know, we had our
The girl was already dead.
Okay, CSI. You just got fired. But, you know, we had our heads up game and other stuff like that. So I was just going to say, bring your own entertainment.
We always do that.
Yeah,
so that wasn't, books, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about our back-to-back process. So for us, this was our first time doing a back-to-back cruise. So I was really excited to see what it was like. Yeah. I heard some stuff, but I didn't really know the process. So I know you put a video out kind of detailing our process. In general, I mean, you know, it was okay. Again, I think it was a little bit different because of the ongoing situation. Right. You do have to get off the ship. So I know there is some back and forth as to whether you have to get off. It's a requirement that you go back through customs. You don't have to bring anything with you in terms of like, you know, any of your bags or anything like that. But you do get off and go to customs. And I know in the video we kind of show, I mean, literally, it was just a walk up. The guy looks at your passport. You get back on the ship. Honestly, it seems silly, unnecessary. But you know, I don't know exactly what they're doing or looking for, so I'll try not to judge that part. But
I just thought of it from just a accessibility, like people walking.
Well, yeah, we have people with wheelchairs and walkers and things, and it's just like.
And the people are the staff that's on Royal Caribbean are very patient and very nice. They waited for everybody just to make sure everybody was off when they were supposed to, and just to take your time, blah blah blah. But it's just one of those things. If you just don't have, if you have mobility issues or something, like that, to have to walk all that long way just to go there and then stand in another line and then show the information to people. I just wish that there was a better process of that. But the whole back-to-back really wasn't bad at all. We did talk about how it was interesting that we thought that we were going to have some time without the next guest getting on to enjoy the ship to yourself. Because after you get through the custom area showing your information, you come back on, they give you a new SeaPass card and a new wristband. I was honestly expecting to just say, okay, you can just go on and do whatever you need on the ship, go back to your room if you want to, go to the pool, whatever it is. But no, they go and they take you to the dining room and have you basically stay hostage in the dining room. And I think we were in there for like a good hour, maybe an hour and a half.
And we left.
Yeah.
Eventually. But I think they said we were sitting there while they sanitized the ship. So I don't think that this is normal.
Right.
Like, because I think they normally aren't saying they're sanitizing the ship. Right. So you can go wherever. Now, we were able to go back to our rooms before new passengers were able to get into theirs before 1 o'clock or 2. I don't remember what it was. Right. So we fortunately were able to go back to our room. But yeah, I didn't... I will say they do offer a luncheon.
Oh, yeah, they did offer a luncheon that same day.
That same day for back-to-back in the dining room. But other than that, I just felt like there wasn't too much advantage in terms of just staying on the ship versus getting off and getting back. I mean, it was
I wouldn't have wanted to do that either, but still at the same time.
I don't know why they couldn't. Now, customs may not be able to board the ship.
Right.
I get it. But why they couldn't just stand at the door where the ship and the terminal meet, and just why we had to walk all up through the building and everything. I don't understand that.
Like, or have a digital process of taking a picture or something like that, scanning something. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it was
going to be a little bit different, but it was interesting just to go through it. It's not something to just encourage anyone from doing a back-to-back.
And I will say again about that quick disembarkation. When we did go through customs, everything was out of that building. Everybody was gone. That building, they had taken up all the little areas where they mark, what your number is. That building was empty.
Yeah, all that stuff. That is true.
That got those people out fast.
One other thing about the back-to-back process, we said this, or you can see in the video, is that you do also have to take and get a negative COVID test the day before you do the back-to-back process. It was funny because I was so concerned about not just getting a negative test, but I wanted to just see the results. I just like to see it, just to make sure there's no issues, blah, blah, blah. And so the gentleman, I went up to the gentleman and asked him, where do we get the negative results? And he said, it'll be through your email, whatever, da, da, da. I said, okay, well, when is it supposed to get there? Is it tonight? Is it in the morning? And he said, it'll either be tonight or in the morning. He was like, but trust me, if you were positive, we will find you. And I was like, okay. So then he was really saying there's nothing to worry about. But I still wanted to see it. That was the hardest thing to get, was the negative results. Like, I don't know why
it was call guest services.
I had to go to guest services.
Yeah. So we didn't. They didn't give them to us or anything. Nothing. You had to go to guest services, and I get if we had been positive, they would have tracked us down.
Right.
But it was just weird.
It was just weird.
Like, we want to know what it's said.
I'm curious.
I mean,
I don't want somebody just showing up at my door and just like, you have to come here.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. This is kind of weird. But anyways, don't forget you have to actually do that. You'll see that that's part of the list of the picture that I posted up there. And
one thing to say is we didn't change rooms. So there is a process. You do get, so if you are staying on for a back-to-back and you are switching rooms, they will clean your rooms first and get your bags and stuff moved into your new room. You will get priority for that. But again, we didn't move rooms, so we didn't have to worry
about
I
like the fact of not moving rooms. So it's just a lot easier.
That's preference. Yeah. But if you want to try out a different room,
So also what we got to experience on this cruise, because now we've had so many cruises, we are now Diamond members. Yeah, check out the Diamond. Yeah. So on our second voyage, we crossed over to the Diamond status, which meant that we can now access the Diamond Lounge and check out what the Diamond Lounge is all about.
What the Diamond people are doing.
Yeah, let's see what this is all fancy on deck 13. So we went to go check out the Diamond Lounge, and that was quite an experience. Talk about a room filled with just 50 people and the size of like a little small coffee shop or something. I mean, it was just kind of weird.
But I was going to say the size of this bedroom. But yeah.
That was really weird.
I can say I don't understand the appeal to that. Like, so for those of you who don't know, one of the things and the only thing I really cared about in terms of crossing over into Diamond status was the free drinks. Now, we don't drink alcohol, but we certainly drink water, soda, juice, and mixed drinks that are virgin. So I was excited about, come on, 4 or 5 of those a day free. That's awesome. So I was looking forward to that. So that kind of... It used to be, though, that in order to actually get those drinks, you had to go to the Diamond Club, Diamond Lounge, to get those drinks. So I understand for those people then why it would be crowded. I've heard stories.
Right.
But now that Royal Caribbean has changed it, that you can get them at any bar on the ship, I don't necessarily understand the allure of the actual room anymore, especially if it's that crowded. So what it appears that they did is they had the Vikings Crown Lounge.
Vikings Crown Lounge.
That doesn't sound right.
Vikings Crown Lounge. Crown
Viking?
Crown Viking? Something, I don't know. We'll find out.
But whatever. So they took it and they partitioned it off in little areas. So I remember when they used to be much bigger than they are now, and they kind of just chopped it off. So now you have this Diamond Lounge, and I think there are lots of diamonds. So much so they had to add a middle section between that and Pinnacle of Diamond Plus. So there are tons of diamonds and Diamond Pluses. And so then you have your little Pinnacle section, which obviously there are going to be fewer Pinnacles. Because those are people who are like, I think you have to have over 740 nights on a cruise ship to be Pinnacle. So like, obviously you don't have as many of those. But like, it's so tight. It's so cramped in there. And it wasn't like people were in there like mingling and talking and meeting new people. I don't know what they were just, I don't know. It was weird. There are plenty of places to sit on the ship and enjoy your drinks that you can get anywhere. And I know people weren't up in there for no chicken wings and piece of cheese.
Snacks.
Like, I know. You weren't hanging out just for that. So it was awkward.
It was very awkward. I thought it was really awkward. Yeah. And so I don't know that I would ever go back in there. I'm just happy that we get our free drinks. That's about it.
One thing you didn't see, and the most embarrassing thing for us is, so we went in there, and when we went to leave, the door doesn't open. Like, you can't, it's locked. And I saw a button on the wall. Now, granted, it looked like it could be for fire, okay?
Exactly.
But it said push to open. Okay, so I went to push it. Corey stops me because he doesn't think that's the button I should be pushing. He has to go and ask them. We look like total fools.
Exactly.
Out the door. It was so embarrassing.
We didn't get a drink. We didn't get no snacks. All we were doing was trying to get out the door, and then we couldn't get out.
No,
so
and there was no place to sit, or whatever. We already felt kind of like awkward. We couldn't get out of the. It was so embarrassing. It was
very embarrassing. So we had that experience. We will not do that again. But yes, we are Diamond now. We can get our free drinks. So which, we had a couple.
See us at the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
And so one more thing I want to talk about before we go is the staff. So I will say that, they were very happy. It seems. So, I don't want to speak out of turn, but they were very happy to be back.
Absolutely.
Everybody was extremely nice. Like, we didn't run across anybody, because sometimes you go on cruises, you can tell people like, I've had enough. Yeah. I need a break. I want to go home. None of that. They were helpful, nice, just all around, we really had a good time. Even with the people on board, like, we didn't run into any issues or anything else. I'll be honest, and I know this is not what the cruise line wants to hear, but I prefer these smaller, or I don't want a smaller ship per se, but I like the lower capacity.
I do too.
At the ship. Like, it felt right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Not at one point did I feel like it was overly crowded. There wasn't a place to sit. None of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That was great.
We have something coming up, like we mentioned earlier, that's going to be completely different from this. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little nervous about it. But we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to make sure I gave a shout out to all of the crew members and the staff on board the Serenade. We really had a good time, and it was because of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So
I mean, anything else you want to add that we didn't really talk about?
So one thing I did, and I think we'll just do this as a little separate video. I decided, because there was nothing going on, that on the ship I would start talking about things that are kind of my pet peeves about cruising.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do probably a small little video and just talk about that.
Yeah.
Just lighthearted stuff. But like y'all probably heard me mention about all the silverware in the dining room. It's just little things like that just like, is this necessary anymore? Cruising has changed so much.
It really has.
Just in the history of cruising, but even in the 20 years that we've been cruising, it's changed so much. And where it used to be, and some stuff made sense, it doesn't necessarily make as much sense now.
Right.
But then there's just some little things I had, so I may put out a little video. But other than that,
so if you could think of some things that are pet peeves to you,
put
them in the comments down below. Which, by the way, I want to say that I would love for you guys to put more comments or questions that you may have about any kind of cruise and stuff. We will definitely love to answer those. We try to reply to everybody as much as we can. So please do that. If you have any questions about this cruise or any other cruises going forward, please let us know what you think.
And to those of you who have been putting comments, we really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to give a shout out to Marshall. She is somebody who I feel like she hits us up with a compliment or
she really does.
A comment. Like, she's first.
Yes. Marshall, yes, for sure. She does definitely leave comments. And Eat Mouse definitely leaves comments. Thank you so much for that.
We got some more. I don't remember off the top of my head. But we, like you said, we do try to respond to all the comments. So
yeah, please continue to do that. Yeah. So we hope that you enjoyed this full review of Serenade of the Seas. Again, if you have any questions about this cruise or any other cruises, please put them down in the comments below. And check out all of our other videos from this series. We have more content coming.
Yes.
For some other upcoming adventures, and then maybe some more stuff from this one. We'll see. So we hope that you enjoyed this video of our full review of Serenade of the Seas. Please hit that thumbs up button if you did. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know every time we post new videos. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.